A Los Angeles landlord is stuck with a nightmare tenant who wouldn't leave and couldn't be evicted for 2 years. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's one of those stories about a nightmare tenant. Now, we've all dealt with bad tenants, okay? All landlords who've been in the business for any amount of time have dealt with tenants who've trashed our properties, refused to pay rent, and we've had to go through expensive eviction processes. But here's the thing, right? When it happens in a place like Los Angeles, it is especially bad because they have such strong tenant protections there that you could lose everything. Your credit could be ruined. You could go into bankruptcy, and that tenant would still be living up in that unit, living for free on your back. Okay, I've heard nightmare stories out of California where the landlord is homeless, can't even move back into their own home. Meanwhile, the tenant is living for free, and the landlord is expected to maintain the property and everything while they're staying up in there. What a joke! What a joke! Okay, they give bad actors, these tenants who are professional, scammers. They give them more rights than they give the property owners themselves. This is part of the reason why I always say, hey, seriously consider not investing in a place like California. Seriously consider that, because you could definitely make a bad decision turn into, your credit being destroyed, your finances being destroyed. Okay, so yeah, this is another one of those stories, and it's a good one. It turns out okay for this landlord, but it's an important lesson that we all can learn from. Okay, so before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, and leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think. Just out of curiosity, down in the comment section, post your nightmare tenant story. Okay, I've told you about many of mine. Most recently, I've had a house where basically I had to do $6,500 in repairs after the tenant finally moved out. Okay, so it was very, very bad damage done to the house. Not good for me. Basically all the profit for the last year gone. But hey, it is what it is. That's part of this business. And fortunately, I have emergency reserves, and I'm able to, hold on. I'll be able to hold on and not have my credit destroyed, not have my finances put into a bad position. But I'm just curious what other types of situations you may have gone through. So anyway, let's get into this story. This article is coming from boingboing.net, and it says, Los Angeles apartment owner battles fraudulent tenant in latest rental story nightmare. Yeah, like I said, all of us have nightmare tenant stories. But anyway, let's get into it. Remember the Airbnb host who refused to leave the guest house she stopped paying for, causing the homeowner a lot of stress and money? Here's another tenant from hell story, also based in Los Angeles. In late 2021, a Santa Monica apartment owner went to her 3-bedroom apartment to inspect it after the tenants had moved out. She discovered an unauthorized occupant. According to Sinai Law Firm, which posted this story on X, it was a middle-aged woman who says, I'm living here. This is my house. She won't leave, and the police are called, but they can't do anything. It's a civil matter. You have to evict her. So this is where I come in. It turns out one of the former tenants subleased one of the rooms for extra cash and did not notify my client. The occupant was so obnoxious and rude that all the rest of the tenants fled elsewhere shortly after she moved in. They found her on Craigslist. So yeah, this is a nightmare scenario for a landlord right there. You rent your house out to a specific tenant. You have all that tenant's information, etc. Right? But what you don't know is that your tenant actually is subleasing one of the bedrooms to some other random person. Okay, and unfortunately for you, that the original tenant who you had living up in there, they move on, they leave, but this random person does not leave. And so now you're stuck in a landlord tenant relationship with a person you didn't rent the place to, who you don't know who the heck it is. And apparently this lady's a scammer. Okay, she's a scammer. She's done this sort of thing before. She's probably left a trail of landlords behind her that are wishing that they had never met her. Okay, so yeah, you are basically been pushed into a situation, and it's not your fault. Okay, I kind of wish that there was some way you could go after the previous tenants who put this lady up in there, because they're the ones who screwed you over. The law firm looked into the unauthorized tenant's background, which revealed a history of similar eviction disputes, deception, and fraud. The apartment owner's attorney had to wait until the COVID moratorium was over in March 2023 before she could take any action. The situation spiraled into a complex and expensive legal battle. The tenant, backed by a local nonprofit, aggressively fought the eviction with a barrage of legal motions, discovery requests, and delay tactics. Yeah, and this is something that I've talked about in many videos before. How these cities and municipalities, they set it up so that, hey, we're going to pay for free lawyers for tenants to fight eviction, even when the tenant is in the wrong 100%, right? And these lawyers, they know the game. They go around, they file useless motions, they drag the process out for a super duper long time. And meanwhile, like they see it as, oh, well, we're just giving this poor person longer opportunity to find additional housing, not even thinking, not even considering for a second that you are destroying this landlord. This landlord is losing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not thinking that the person they're protecting is actually a scammer who is trying to get something for free. They don't even think that's, oh, no, they're not scammers. Like, yeah, they are. Okay, if you sign a contract saying that you're going to pay rent and then you don't pay it, well, you're a scammer. I know that's not the case in this situation, right? But this person here never even had a contract with the actual property owner. Okay, she's got to go. She's got to find somewhere else to live. And it's absolutely horrible that she got to stay there basically for 2 years for free, because this all started in 2021, and it wasn't until March of 2023 when the local eviction moratorium ended. So yeah, the landlord got completely screwed over, and meanwhile this lady got to stay for 2 years for free. The case went to a jury trial. The jury unanimously ruled in favor of the owner, granting her possession and damages. But the unauthorized tenant was far from giving up. She filed multiple motions to reverse the judgment, prolonging the eviction process and necessitating the sheriff's intervention for a lockout. She then attempted to break into the apartment, hiring a locksmith to help her get in. So yeah, even after, okay, first you demand a jury trial for an eviction. Okay, that's just a delay tactic trying to drag things out. The jury unanimously is like, no, you're completely in the wrong. You have to get the heck up out of there, right? And then you file more and more motions and paperwork and all this garbage, right? See, this is the problem when you provide lawyers to tenants for free. Okay, this is the kind of stuff you see where a landlord, like I imagine this person, imagine being a small mom and pop landlord, okay? And your monthly house payment being, let's just throw $3,000 a month out there, okay? That's probably low for a place like Los Angeles. So $3,000 a month, right? 2 years of lost rent. Think about that for a moment there. Okay, the first 2 years, you're out, what is that? It's $36,000 a year, so $72,000, and that's just lost rent. Okay, that doesn't cover any damages. That doesn't cover any repairs that you had to make. Okay, this is absolutely horrible, and you're going to have to come out of that, all of the mortgage payment and everything, out of your own pocket. Like me coming up with an extra $3,000 a month out of pocket with no additional income. I don't know, like my family wouldn't be able to eat. Okay, if I mean, if I'm a small landlord, you're basically subsidizing someone else's living so that they can live for free on your back. You're going to work every day. You're working your butt off at your job so that some random person who you don't even know can have somewhere to stay. That's the solution to the homelessness issue, according to the city of Los Angeles and the state of California. Okay, this is part of the reason why I don't agree with not treating these tenants like the adults they are. Okay, we're not your parents, And we shouldn't be treated as a parent or a social service provider or a charity, because we're not those things. Okay, we are real people, and we're dealing with real situations just like everyone else. And like, this is the kind of story where you think to yourself, okay, do I really want to be a landlord? And a lot of the small mom and pops are just saying, no, no, I don't. And they're selling their properties. If it's a single family home, you're selling it to owner occupants. That way, that means you're getting completely out of the rental business. If it's an apartment building, you might convert the thing over to condos. It's just like, hey, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it dealing with these problems. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. So yeah, another nightmare tenant story. There's never going to be a shortage of these types of stories. Okay.